Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Monday. Listen, we are here. We're survived this Monday. We've survived another day. We're going to be here talking about the first day of school. That's what we're talking about today. I just want to thank everybody again, always supporting us, always looking and watching and sharing and supporting us. Brother Nance is over here with us, my co-host, Moses.
What up? You
He's
already know.
driving. He is multitasking. But yeah, we're here today to talk about the first day of school. I know we all know some things have been going on. First day of school was a half a day for some schools due to lack of AC. We also had some transportation issues going on. So we're here to talk about those things and see if we can get back to a part two of some solutions. We talked about that last week, but it is very imperative that we have these conversations and that we make, bring awareness to these issues that are going on in our schools because it not only affects our children, but other children, the village. So we have to make sure we're speaking out and holding people accountable in a respectful way, right? But we want to make sure that we're talking about these things. There's been a lot of talk about, the AC, a lot of frustration. My daughter's school was one that had lack of AC, so I literally dropped her off and had to come back a couple hours later.
Mama Hope.
So he has a whole yeah. So her school was one that had no AC. So we want to kind of talk about that. For me, it's kind of like it's kind of frustrating because if you don't have a job that's flexible where you can leave, after you just clocked in and you have to leave to pick your child up because your child do not have AC, that is very disappointing and upsetting. The fact that it is 2021, I'm still stuck on that. Like it is 2021. We should have these schools with some proper ventilation and AC. But unfortunately, there's still a great deal of schools without. There are schools that have been without for years and decades. And so for me, that's unacceptable. So we're going to be talking about that. I would love if anyone has questions, concerns, some feedback, want to come on the live. We are just it's going to be an interactive segment here, but I think it's so important to talk about this, right? We also had transportation issues. So there were some bus drivers that, as the article said, called out. Don't know the full details, but also that had affected students to get to school. So now parents have to figure out if this is not happening, are we doing a plan B? And we know they're contracted, but in the same token, what is your plan B? What are we doing to help the community and the families affected? Again, I stayed at my daughter's school and she doesn't take the bus, but I stood there answering concerns and questions. And so I left probably about 9:30, and that bus had not even made it to the school that didn't show up. So I don't even know if that bus even showed up at all. And did those parents make their way to the school? So these are a lot of things. I feel like is it rushed? Is it did they take enough time and consideration? There are parents who have come to me with concerns with overcrowded classes. Like, let's talk about this. Brother Nance, you got any feedback about that? I mean, I said a lot because there's a lot going on. So, uh-oh. All right, so Brother Nance kind of went out a little bit. It's also a storm, so hopefully the storm is not affecting him. But anyway, if anyone would like to come on, or if you have questions, I will be reading it off of the live. But as I stated, not only was there transportation issues, but we also had AC and other things. So, Brother Nance, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm
Okay.
bad
So,
multitasking.
what's your thoughts on this,
On what?
if you can, on just
Thought
you
on
know
what?
on just where we are, like schools opening with many of these issues.
I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I think the kids should be back in school because they need it. You know what I mean? Some people don't want kids back in school because they don't want their kids wearing masks, and I respect that too. You know what I mean? So it's just a touchy situation on both ends because I feel everybody's perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm in it. You know what I mean? So it's not that I don't think that the children don't want to be in school. I think that one thing that we do have to watch and monitor, whether they're at home or in the building, is we got to watch passing adult anxiety onto these kids. Like, you know what I mean? I think the adults are stressing the kids out more than actual what is actually going on. So we have to be very mindful of that. You know what I mean? I think that we need to be very mindful of that, whether you have your child at home or whether you have your child in the building. I mean, a lot of the times the children that are at home, you know, they're being made to be afraid of technology. You know what I'm saying? And technology is the generation which they're growing up in. So if you're going to have your child at home, I think that it is imperative to become one with it and don't pass the adult energy on and frustration and anxiety and all that stuff onto these children. I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but I was
going to say all technology aside, because that's what I hear you talking about. All technology aside, we're talking about health issues.
I mean, my thing is this.
We're talking about no running water, brown water. We're talking about mold. We're talking about, you know.
You also got to realize. You got to realize these schools been closed for almost a year. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yes, they should have been a little more prepared. They should have been a little bit more geared towards having the children back in the building. I agree with that. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, honestly, I think they should have waited to after Labor Day for school to start so they can do all the things they needed to do. Had the teachers come back a week before and then have the students come in after Labor Day. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. But I mean, hey, you know, I mean, who am I? I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't know. Our school, we're still preparing. We don't open up till next week. So this week we're still preparing. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of stuff.
So it is a little different for you to say if it has not opened. So we're talking about, you know, school opening and some are not in their proper classrooms. They're putting, you know, makeshift. But
honestly, let's just be realistic here. I mean, seriously, let's be realistic here. Every beginning of the school year is always kinks and it's always missed schedules. There's always something going on. I mean, we got to be, we can't, I'm not making light of it, but we can't blow up something like this. Doesn't happen on a normal basis, especially in Baltimore City. I mean, it's like I was telling you the last time, like, how can we be mad about something that you already know is a possibility that can happen? I'm strictly saying is, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so I'm really upset. And it's not even just like,
why you upset? Tell me why you mad. Tell me why you mad.
I would say, me personally, I know that my daughter's school didn't have AC. So I'm not here to say, hey, here's a new school year and just to bring, you know, smoke to the thing. There's communication issues. So if a school has already said, if the district already said this school is going to get AC and the letters went out in June, and then we come in for a sneaker peek, and we walk in and it's hot like a sauna. And where was the communication? So there's,
I agree with that.
So I think that's where my issues come in. Where is the communication? Where is the partnership? We say we want to be partners. I mean, I'm not going to take, and I keep saying this over and over, I'm not willing to take my child out of a school that I love. I love the staff there. I love the small area. But in the same token, my anxiety, yes, I do have an anxiety. My anxiety is that I've let her hand go, that I can't even walk her in a school. I've let her hand go for me to trust them when they are not even communicating with us from the beginning. So
I agree, but I agree, but I also know that schools get a lot of late communication and a lot of miscommunication from the actual heads. It's not always on. It's not just always. Hold on, and it's not just always the district, because the district got to wait to get money from the state and stuff like that. So it's a whole thing. If we're going to talk about it, we need to talk about it from the very top. You know what I'm saying? We can't just point the fingers at the district because they have people to answer. Hold on. I'm not saying that the money's not there. That's not the point. And the point I'm making is, maybe lose my train of thought. But the point I'm making is, we have no, seriously, because we have to get out of we spend so much time pointing the fingers at who did this. It's not even about that. Like, they got people they got to answer to too. Like, I've had situations where I've had grants and funding supposed to been released, and we had to go through extremes just to get the money. You know what I mean? And it wasn't the people who hold on. It wasn't the people who issued me the grant who was holding up the money. It was another department. You know what I mean? So how much blame can I give the people, the organization that gave me the grant, that issued me the grant and awarded me the grant, if they're not the ones in charge of releasing the money? You understand what I'm saying? So
let me ask
it's a lot.
So let me ask you a question, brother Nance.
Go ahead.
Do you have a child in Baltimore City schools?
Unfortunately, no. I would love to actually have. I would actually love to have a. Hold on. I would actually love to have a child at Baltimore City Public School. But I had two nieces. I have a niece currently in Baltimore City High School, and I have a nephew that went to Maryville. So yes, I have people in Baltimore City High School.
City's having issues too. So if you have a niece over there, you need to connect with someone over there. The parents is already uproar with that too.
What's going on?
I'll let you know. But let me just say, the reason I asked that is not to say, hey, you can't have a say. I wanted to say that because there are plenty of communication that comes from the district. I would like to know why we never received correspondence to say, I would feel better to say, look, this project has been pushed back. You can't put something out and then you never say anything until the parents walk in, and then there's a sauna. We've had. But
let me ask you a question. How you know nobody was telling them, dragging their feet, and they was asking like, hey, what's going on with the AC? And they was like, yo, it's going to be next week. So they didn't want to. You know what I mean?
When does the communication?
The communication should. If I was running the school, if I was the principal or the executive director, I mean, the communication would have came out once I knew the project was going to be delayed. I would have sent y'all a message like in the beginning of the summer, like, look, listen, y'all, I know that we said AC was coming this year, but there's some holdups. I don't know what's the timetable, but it's still in play. It's still in motion. You know what I mean? So in the meantime, And in the meantime, what we're going to do is on the hot days that maybe code red or whatever, we're going to go ahead and our school will be closed. You know what I mean? And we will notify you guys, ahead of time. You know what I mean?
I get that. So let me just say, my daughter's school is amazing, and the communication came out, but it also came out at last minute. So if something came out May, June, we never. Thank you. So Angela, look, there's two Angelas here. Let me just really say what she had on here, because the last one. Thank you. Okay, so effective communication takes us a long way and helps do away with unnecessary issues. That is,
it does. I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean,
that never came out. Just like they said, social distancing. They never went. Now the classrooms are overcrowded. They never. I don't think people really understand like what is actually happening at the top. No one really knows what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people act like they got. You know what I mean? Like, these people have a magic wand to figure this out. And that's the challenge that we having, because we're trying to figure it out. But everything that we're trying to do, people want to fight it instead of coming up with solutions. You know, the only thing we can do is build bigger classrooms. You know what I mean? Like, send kids in school A-B days. Like, some kids come half a day, then the other kids come in. Like, we got to figure it out, but we can't every time we're trying to do something. This is all new territory for everybody. So I just wish people would have the patience and give people grace. You know what I mean? Because we spend so much time arguing and going back and forth about who's right, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. When we need to be sitting there thinking about the solutions. That's why I spend my time thinking about solutions. You know what I mean? I don't spend my time thinking about the problems, because everyone has someone to answer to. It's like I said, money's coming from different places. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many grants we done apply. Hold on. I don't know how many grants we applied for at my school that we're waiting for. You know what I mean? Is it the grantees? Is it our fault as the grantees? No, but we can't stop what we're doing for trying to be creative and figuring out what we're going to do and how we're going to get our school set up. Like, we have to keep moving. You know what I mean? So no, I don't think families understand all the dynamics that's happening behind the scenes inside these schools. You got to deal with convincing teachers to come back. Some teachers don't want to come back. So people have no idea of the amount of stuff that school leadership is dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think that we need to be a little bit more fair and give people grace, because I don't think nobody that's living right now has been in a pandemic that I know of. I don't think no one out here has been dealing with some airborne disease that is killing people, that kill people I personally know.
You know what I mean? So I'm not being naive to the fact of people concerns. I'm saying let's be more solution oriented. Let's stop passing our anxieties on to our kids, and let's try to figure out, why don't we ask the students what work? What do they want? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we ask them that?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because
every kid I talked to said they want to be back in school. It's their parents trying to keep them home.
And I'm not for, there's a lot of students that want to be back. There's some that are not. That's not my point of whether they should be in there or not. But my thing is it a healthy environment? Is it going to be a safe environment? You said ask the students. You said ask the students, and I'm telling you, you can speak to a lot of people at City, because I received not emails, but pictures of things that are going on inside their school, and it didn't come from a concerned, overthinking parent. It came from the students.
Okay, so that's cool. That's what I'm saying. We can't
say the students are not having those issues either.
I'm not saying they're not. What I'm saying is, I know a lot of students that want to come back to school. You know what I mean? And why should they be denied because their parent is living in fear? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not fair.
So are they going into the schools that are brown water and mold and no ventilation? Regardless if we want to have them.
That's not, Angie. That's not every. I mean, let's be realistic here. That's not every school. Has that happened? Yes. Okay, well, if it's over 15 schools, schools, right? Mm-hmm. Hold on. If it's over 15 schools with brown water and all that, then that's a problem. But if it's like, it's a problem for brown water, period. Let me hold it. Let me just be clear on that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Let me be clear on that. You know what I mean? But I also know that it's a lot. Leadership get thrown new stuff every freaking day. Every day is something new. Every day is a new protocol. Every day, you know what I mean? Like, you got to test kids in pods when they come back. And you got some people that's vaccinated and some people that are not. I mean, it's so many dynamics that is happening. People have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, many of the school infrastructure are outdated, and they're building schools. If you look at the new schools where they're building, that pay attention. You know what I mean? It's the soon to be or already gentrified areas. You better pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, yes, the schools are outdated. The pipes are old. They probably was corroded because of the fact that they haven't used them in a whole year and a half. You got to think about it. Those pipes haven't been used in a whole year and a half. You know what I mean? So unless you're in there running water, how would you know that the pipe's going to be brown? I mean, I'm not saying that they don't know, they shouldn't have tested it and all that. But again, this is all new for everyone. I just want us to be realistic here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I wouldn't want my kid to be in a place with brown water. I wouldn't want my kid to be in a place where there's no air. I don't think no teacher should be teaching when there's no air. But we also got to be realistic here and say, it's our elders went to school, had to walk miles to school. So come on.
So I heard this argument.
Come on.
Wait a minute. I heard this argument, and I got to push back on it because our ancestors done it, because we went through it in the 80s and 90s. We done went through some lead. That's probably what's wrong with some of us. My daughter in her little era, 2008 is when the signs went up about the drinking water. That was 2008, and these schools still have those signs up. We can't say, what we survived, or our ancestors, or our parents.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
Can we stop making that excuse? Can we stop making
it's not even an excuse. It's not even an excuse. What I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying. It took them years to overcome just to be in the same schools as people. I'm talking about thank
you, Angela. I'm just saying.
Understand. No, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not using that as no excuse. I'm just saying that let's be realistic here. You understand what I'm saying? We got people that haven't been in, you got people that sitting in cuticles making whatever it's called, making decisions, right? You know what I mean? They're getting information from other leaders in other cities and other schools. Like, no one knows what to do. You know what I'm saying? So let's be realistic here. Stop acting like people are we're waiting for a savior. It's like we're waiting for the Jesus Christ or the Allah of the school world to come in and say, boom, what's one magic thing and the school's going to be fixed? No, this is years and years of systematic things. You got to think about this. Urban school districts are the only school districts that hire through these teachers programs. And what happens is, you hire through teacher programs, you cannot build no school continuity. You can't build no longevity. You can't build no buy-in. You know what I mean? So if we're going to talk about all the things, let's talk about everything. We can't just talk about no brown water and no AC. You know what I mean? Because that's part of the problem. That's not the major problem. You know what I mean? So we just have to look at, if we're going to push back on things, push back on everything. Don't just be selective on one thing, because there's not one thing on why the system is broken. That's all I'm saying. And we got to be fair to our leaders, because I work with a dynamic leader, and I watched him through this pandemic take our school from being 20% device school to all our kids a one-on-one device school. I watch all our families get hotspots. I watch us had to connect with different resources, and I watch the district give us stuff, but we also had to do our own resources too. So no one has no idea what people are doing out here and how many up in order. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if anyone, I do understand. Through boards that I've sat on, we have advised school boards and the school board commissioners and the CEO. We have met with them throughout the whole pandemic. So you're like preaching to the choir. I know exactly all the steps. I'm not saying there's not any dynamic leadership. Like I said, first and foremost, my daughter's school is a phenomenal school, and they deserve to have that investment like any others, even if they can't become a 21st century school. There's no reason that schools should be in the condition that they are in, especially with funding that came in for these particular, things to help them.
If that's the case,
the money that came in. I mean, what it would entail.
If that's the case, we can say our neighborhoods should be in the conditions that they should be in. I mean, let's be real.
Well, I'm talking about education, because education is very important.
It go hand in hand.
That's the topic, and we talk about crime all the time, so we can't even go there either to say
I'm not even talking about crime.
Well, I'm just saying neighborhoods. We talked about poverty on this show. So
I'm talking about blighted. I'm talking about blighted environments.
We talked about blight. We talked about blight. So
which impacts education. You don't think that impacts education?
So
that impacts education tremendously.
My point is, you said we can't single out. Yes, we can. We've singled out crime. We've singled out poverty. And yes, we can single out education. You're missing the point.
I said singling out one problem in education. I'm not talking about singling out education. I'm talking about singling out one problem within education. You can't single out one problem and say, this is the one reason why everything is messed up. That's what I'm talking about.
Did you hear me say I'm singling out that it's just the AC?
No, but you're telling me that that's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I said.
Yeah, I'm just saying you mentioned that that was like we kind of single. No, I'm not. We're talking about first day of school and what happened.
I said we can't single out one thing.
Angela said we have an ask and respond. This has this has not been something new. Yes, the pandemic is new, but the issues are not. You are correct about the gentrification that is happening. This system isn't broken. It was designed to work this way.
Exactly. The system is working.
Yeah.
My question is, what are you going to do to change? My thing is, what are you going to do to acquire the power within the system? You know what I'm saying? Not fighting each other. We can't do it that way. It's about organizing the smart people and the people that can make change.
So listen, I have worked, me personally, I have worked or tried to work with those that can make some changes. And I can tell you right now, even that tactic has not worked. The communication has to change. It's almost like if they don't want it to change, like you just said, it's by design. And I'm not saying a who, but you can't say that, we've written letters, we've had forums, we've had meetings. I've expressed my concerns about certain schools. So at the end of the day,
the big question is, what does America get out of making sure that they educate brown kids? What do they gain?
Yeah, that's a topic in itself.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, that's a whole nother one.
So it's up to us. Our voices, and organizing people and money. That's how you make change.
I understand, but as long as my child is in that school, if you think I'm going to be quiet, Brother Nance.
No, you're not supposed to. You're not. I'm just saying, organize people, organize the parents, and organize the other community stakeholders. And handle y'all business. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine, but we still got the show is to bring awareness. So doesn't mean that organizing's not happening, but that doesn't mean
I'm not saying that not. I ain't beefing with you, Angie. I'm saying I agree with you. All I'm saying is
If you see my post, I've been on 1,000 only because
I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy.
It really, I know you're not. But
I'm not
to
your
me,
enemy.
all you have to do is communicate. Even if you say, look, this project been pushed back, we're not going to get AC this school year, I'm fine with it. But the point was, like Angela said, is like the communication is effective. Communication takes us a long way. If there's no communication, I shouldn't have to walk. We already can't go into schools now, so we don't even know how everything is going to look for them. You know, like fully. Anyway. Yes, I've read that one. But first day of school, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not willing to just say, hey, I'm gonna take my child out and just put her in a school that has AC or 21st century, and that's going to be the solution. That's not fully the solution. And in the same token, I shouldn't have to take her out of her neighborhood school to put her somewhere else. Like, we need to work on that. And if this is nothing that can be done, and particularly this school year, just say that. Be honest about that. Communicate that and convey that message to the parents.
But maybe they didn't want to falsely communicate because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know if somebody was promising them that it'd be tomorrow. You don't know.
Well, that should be said. It should be that it's delayed without a date. It's delayed.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Now is what I'm telling you.
Brother Nance is not disagreeing with you. Brother Nance, I'm in full agreement with you. I'm not your enemy. You know what I mean? I'm not your enemy. Yeah, you know I'm your friend.
What did I get myself into?
No, because
an upset parent.
I mean, listen. I mean, as you should be. I'm just saying, like my post earlier today when I did my video this morning. I said, "Hey, family, friends, parents, let's not pass our anxiety and our frustrations on to our children." That's what I said, because the kids are already a little bit lacking. You know what I'm saying? And they cannot afford to be dealing with the stress that we're pushing on them as adults.
So listen, what I saw today, I try to go to several schools, but unfortunately with some hiccups at one school. But I went to my daughter's school. I can say parents probably was up here like anxiety, but I can say the students, they really look like they were happy to be back in school. I can honestly say that.
Yes, like I've seen kids' eyes light up.
Wait a minute, Brother Nance, including my child, but does that mean that I'm still going to let her touch a hot oven knowing that it's hot? Am I still going to put her in a situation where that's my responsibility? Because at the end of the day, if something happens to her, I don't want to get a letter to say she's been exposed to lead and this is is nothing we can do. It's done. And to be honest, there are some schools that have been exposed, you know, and we're not talking about that because of communication again. And so we have to be in understanding, and it doesn't take away from beautiful schools that have opened this school year. I get it. I love it. And the same token, I would love to see some love sent to some other schools that deserve the same, even if it's just something temporarily or just to say, hey, this project has been pushed back. We need to hear that. And then we will be fine as parents. It's already hard for us being out of the school, you know, the students being out for a year and a half, having them go back and it doesn't even feel like they were fully prepared. And this is not just students. My concern is for our students, teachers, and support staff. So it's not just because of the students. I'm saying in general. They should have a safe environment and they should have effective communication.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, fortunately, I'm at a school. I said, fortunately, I'm at a school where we have amazing communication. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we pride ourselves on. So, I mean, but we're also not a super big school. We're a small school. So that has a lot to do with it as well. You know what I mean?
So I wanted to read this. I wanted to read this. Jess, that's my cousin. She said the system is working. We can't work with the status quo. We have to go off script to get what we've never had. Sorry, we have to do what we've never done. He said, "Let's go."
Exactly.
Okay, go.
Create.
Looking over here.
Yes.
Said,
create what we want. That's what I'm talking about, Jazz. Create what we want. We keep waiting for people to tell us what to do. That's what I'm saying. Like, stop spending so much time arguing and just create what we want. That's what I'm saying. That's what I do.
it's not an argument, but you're telling me you can't, but are you telling me you can't bring awareness to something?
Not saying you can't,
Are
Angie.
you really saying that? Because even if we are organized and even if we're trying to do something, that doesn't mean I'm
I've
still
never
not going
once
to
said
hold
you can't
someone
bring awareness
accountable.
to it. I'm saying
It's holding
organized
people accountable.
I'm saying make organized noise, not
Yes.
don't be a
If you'd
rebel
like to come
without a
on,
cause
let me
and no
know.
plan. You can yell from the top of the mountain. We've been marching decades,
Who
but if you
says
don't have
someone doesn't
expertise,
have a plan?
I didn't.
Who says one doesn't have a plan?
One
This is
again,
a radio
I'm gonna
show,
say
and we talk about topics. And today's topic is this. I'm sorry if anyone may get offended by it or feel like we can't speak about it. If I can speak about anything else, I'm going to speak about education. I'm going to speak about holding people accountable that are in position
hey,
and
Angie,
that
you're missing the
are
point of
elected.
what I'm saying. You're missing the point of what I'm
So
saying.
here's another comment. It says 30 city bus drivers called out of work, about 300 students impacted on first day of school. And this is not to say this is on the district. Listen, I'm just saying it's another little hiccup.
That's the district fault too. That's the district fault.
I never said that. I read a comment, and I just made a notion. Lord, he worked, so it's gonna be hard. Yes, come on.
Everything.
So look, I don't know if you want to come on now or if you want to come on a different show. Just let me know. Sorry, I'm
she can come on now if she want. We got 10 minutes.
So let me know if you
bring her on
would
now.
like to come
Bring
on
her
now,
on
and
now.
I'll send you the link. So I'll just wait for her comment. Other than that, like I said, there are students that we're happy to be in there, as well as teachers, and so I'm not taking away from that. But I wanted to just say this was the highlight of the first day. Yeah, she said she can come on now. Give me 1 second. I'm sharing the link. And yeah, this is a good discussion. But like I said, I can never be in a position where I don't say afraid, but I don't want to speak about certain things. Like I'm going to speak about something because it's affecting me. Rather I got to leave work early, rather I got to take my daughter to school, to the doctor for health reasons. There are so many things, and she's my responsibility.
Facts.
And just like other parents. So if someone gets upset, I mean, hey, but it's unacceptable to me. Hold on, I'm trying.
It is unacceptable, Angie. I don't want you to think I'm up here agreeing with the school system. That's not what I'm doing.
No, I know, and I just want you to know that it doesn't mean that we're not organizing because we're talking about it.
And I'm not saying y'all. I didn't say y'all wasn't organized. I didn't say y'all wasn't organized. All I'm simply saying is, like, the fight is. I mean, you just gotta. I like to choose where I fight and put my energy at. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like, figure out what part of the.
Let's see if she came on. I know we're still live. All right, I think we're still live. So, do we have our guest on, Jessica? Okay. Oh, Jess. She still got Jess on there, so I'm gonna say Jess. Hey Jess, thank you for coming on and being our guest. I saw your comments, and I just wanted to know, like, your feedback or what you're getting from some of the parents that that you work with every day. Let's talk about, like, that first day of school. Again, we're never here to bash. We do want to give solutions, but we also feel as though if we have a platform such as this, why not bring awareness?
Right.
And so, what are your thoughts on everything that's going on with the first day and just school in general?
Well, I mean, I think we can speak to the first day as what we all kind of know what it is. And I think to some degree, we all expected it. I think it's naive of us to think that this design that we find ourselves in wasn't decades in the making. We are really at the cusp of the entire system just breaking to the degree where It's simply working the way they intended it to work. We are right now on the borderline of it doing the flip that happened in DC, that happened in Brooklyn, that happened in Atlanta. I think Baltimore has an edge though, because there's some serious and true fighters from the generations before us, that voting block that is still grinding. But I believe this system is trying to wait them out. So let's bring this up a little bit. When we talk about today's first day, it's a lot of frustration. A lot of things, Angie, really do. I mean, it has to happen at the same time. This design is so crazy because parents that really want to dive in with two hands and 2 feet have to deal with the fact that they got to work. And so you pile on the issue of this pandemic, safety, and the need to keep roofs over these children's heads, food in their bellies. It's a struggle to try to tackle all of these things at one time. And then you deal with the fact that as a teacher, they have to walk into these conditions as well. So, here's what I think needs to happen though. I think we just simply need to say, and as hard as it is, to heck with all of this, and let's just rush this entire system, because that's all we got left. People thinking, when you look at it, it's a bigger picture. But if you just look at real estate in and of itself, a lot of these houses in the city are free and clear. There are a lot of elderly people in these homes, and they're not leaving them to anybody or any child or anything. So when people knocking on your door, you see these signs up, we buy houses for cash, and you've allowed this city to get so bad that they like, I can't deal with it. Here it is, come knocking on these doors, these contractors talking about, I'll give you $20,000 for your house. And they put it back on the market for 6 and 7 times higher than what it is. It's intentional. And so you got our babies. The way you disrupt an entire culture, entire generation, ethnic group, is that you hit them in where education is. This is all by design. So when I say we have to go off script, it is unfortunate, but we're in a situation where, Angie, a lot of those that we have elected, and I mean, hey, it is what it is. Let's cut no cards with this. I'm not rubbing any elbows with anybody. The reality is that a lot of them are playing into this, whether they truly know it or not, by going with the flow, the same old, same old. I'm going to, support this or because they're supporting me. Like it's very, very convoluted, and it's only hurting us at the end because of this me, my, and I mentality. If we don't come at this as a group, as a unified front, we're going to lose. And I think that we are in a space where we get that. And there are a lot of us that get that. We're just waiting for that. We got a lot of plans, and everybody is right.
Yes.
But we got to take that plan off of paper because we wrote the vision. We made it plain. Now we got to put it into action.
Listen. Listen, Miss Irene, I saw her say, tell it. Listen, and Angela, so good. It's like people are looking and they are agreeing. Again, I always put a disclaimer. I'm not trying to be your enemy, but at the same token, you made a good point. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna be in a situation where I can't call it out, or where I can't hold you accountable, because at the end of the day, if my child gets affected, by anything, be affected by anything later down the line, that's going to be on me. If it's lead, if it's, anything with the mold or brown water or something, or something happens to her. It was so, for me, I went to another school, as they were not my daughters, but I went to another school just to see the flow of things. And it was just so overwhelming that I know that some students, some of the staff or teachers was just like, they don't even know who the parents are, but they're outside. So where was the sign out to say, this is who I was really supposed to pick up? No offense, but I'm just saying, it's like, did we really think everything through? Or were we just trying to open it up to get some funding, additional funding? And then the funding, where did it go? Because we still had to supply all of these things, which I only gave her a minimum of what she needs. But at the end of the day, We don't have these plexiglasses. We don't have, they're like 3 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, they have overcrowded classrooms. I
Mm-hmm.
understand, I overstand that that they need to be in school,
Yeah.
but to what extent?
Right.
To the extent of just rushing it through,
Right.
up to the extent to say, well, if you're speaking out against it, you must be my enemy. No, I love you. I love city schools, and I'm a really big advocate for city schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a school in my neighborhood that I'm going to fight for them to see them get a AC into that school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking her out to put her in a private school. Can I put her in a private school? I sure can.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to invest? If I take her out, my child out, it helps me, but it doesn't help the other students. And it doesn't help being quiet either. So
No.
and I'm never one who's going to feel like I can't speak about something.
Mm-hmm.
I have to.
You have
Even if
to.
someone gets upset, I may lose some people. I might check on here and see a friend gone, and I say adios, because at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
my child is what matters. Those babies in that school, in these schools, period, all over, is what matters. You
Yep.
understand? So,
Yep. At the end of the
look at
day,
your husband.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna be done. But I'm gonna tell you this: at the end of the day, the question really comes down to: can you honestly look those children in the face and say, and be able to say to them when you see them, "I did the best that I could to set you up with the best future possible."
Amen. Yes, yes.
And if that doesn't give a mother
Yes,
or father a fire in their
yes.
heart to say, you know what, screw everything regarding.
I think that's where I am. It's not even like so much of a screw. Like, I mean, but I am there because you get frustrated. But I've tried. I've been the one who say, look, I'm not going to talk to 545. I might talk to
Right.
some other ones. I'm not going to talk to 545. I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to be a partner. I email, and then when you get no response, I say, the media likes me. That I'm willing to get people together. I'm willing to go over and beyond. Like, why do we have to go that far? Answer the questions,
They have an agenda.
and I'm respectful. I'm not sitting here and like talking to them any kind of way, but I have done things where there has been an email, there has been an email thread, there has been pictures, there's been, as I'm on PCAD, we've had forms. This is nothing new. We've done solutions, but at the same token, it's like we hear one thing and then we get another, and that's unfortunate for me.
It is unfortunate for everybody.
For everyone, yes.
Right? And so that's when, I say this, and this, it is what it is. That's when Malcolm X approach starts to make sense to me. Because it comes down to, we took this posture of, we go high when they go low. And I understand that. But I think there's a way to go. I think that when you step into this arena, you got to have some type of gangster witches in order for you to get some things done. Because guess what? If we honestly think that what they've done to us is something that is to be handled and responded to respectfully, then we misunderstood. Then we have wrong interpretation. And and there's a way it can be done where you can do it with a smile on your face, and they don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I say at the end of the day, I still love you, and I'm still gonna hold you accountable, because if I was ever elected or put in a position, I would want somebody to hold me accountable. I would want to be transparent. And even when I ran for office, I led with integrity. I was very transparent, and I don't want to get can't put me in an office and now I got to be quiet, because half of the people that ran, they were speaking about things that we haven't heard yet, and I won't go there. But at the end of the day, I want to say you made a little notion, but I'm gonna go even further and say I want to sleep good at night.
Right.
And if that takes for me losing a friend, if that takes for me associate, because if you lost me, then it's not a friend. But if it takes for you to say, look, I'm cool with this person, so you can't say that. No, you're cool with them, and they hook you up and they help you.
Take
but
them to
my
dinner.
child,
if you like them, take them to dinner, but don't vote them in.
Yes, they say don't mix the business and play. So let me read these, because I always like to make sure we are not missing anyone that's on. Angela's, yes, go along and get along. She also said accountability at all levels is necessary for the progression and evolving to transpire. Oh, there we go. It's up on the screen. And your hubby, he said more often than not, it's about funding. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. There's a strong minority of people who actually care. Many parents use school as a glorified babysitter. Okay, no, nothing there. Angela said okay, thank you. Angela said all city schools are not adequately prepared. Unfortunately, we see it, and we have to, call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Certain zones get special attention. We have to speak up and continue to move the goalposts, and that's the honest truth. Kyle said, I don't see it on here, so I don't know what he's looking at, but Kyle said, Dr. Kyle Berkeley, said I truly appreciate the good teachers and faculty members on the front lines raising concerns with these schools. Let me tell you, my concern hasn't just been from parents; it has been from teachers, it has been from students, and we have to understand that it's on all levels. And as much as we all want to, and some do, you can't lie that there's some anxiety there, and you don't see the things that they promised during the reopening plan didn't line up with the actual reopening. That's it's hard. Brother Nance, I didn't know where you were. You're still there?
I was listening the whole time. I agree. You gotta have a little. I agree with the sister. You gotta have a little gangster. I mean, I'm not disagreeing.
Tavon said he has a question. You can put it in the chat, Tavon, and we'll answer it. You can ask the question. He said, I have a question. You can ask. So we'll wait for that question. But thank you, Jess, for just being just a concerned parent. And you listen, I see the work you're doing out there, so keep fighting and keep doing what you need to do out here, because at the end of the day, we're being a voice. Some people may not know where to go and how to maneuver. I've unfortunately have sent information over to certain people. A parent may have come to me. I sent them a contact and a connect there to speak to someone in a district, like a higher facilities or whatever. Sure. And unfortunately, they didn't get any feedback. They didn't get a response back. So we have a special meeting going on to talk. So don't, I will never want anyone to think that we're just the first instance is to fight. No, we have tried to be partners when it comes to certain things before I even go there. But at the end of the day, you have to look at this is just the beginning. As we understand the AC, but can we get past, and no offense, Brother Nance, because he's not the only one said it, so I'm not going off his comment only, but I've heard we survived it, we did it, we did this. Unfortunately, I always say, did we survive it? Because we're the ones that probably, our children got let, being, hypothetically speaking, but I'm saying you had a whole group that was affected by lead, you had a whole group that was affected by asthma with mold. Even though we went through it, did they necessarily had to? Some of that could be linked to the schools they were in. And do we want to say, oh, we survived it, so it's okay 20, 30 years later, 40 years later to still say there are some schools that look the same way it did 20, 30, 40 years ago?
No, I'm not saying we should. I'm not saying we should.
Wait a minute. Tavon has his question. He said, he said, I don't expect an answer. Oh, Lord, I don't even want to read it. I don't expect an answer, but what exactly did we expect to get from the integration of schools in the 60s? So he got did we actually think we would benefit from kicking their doors down to enter their schools? That's another, that's another, I fought most of my best friends. I'm fighting people too, and like I said, some don't speak to me. And I said, in the day, like I told you, Jess, I gotta sleep good at night, and I sleep really good. Well, I'll be having insomnia reading my books, but I'm saying I can say that at least I spoke out about something.
And guess what, Angie? You'd be surprised that there is a generation now that is all about that. It's not a go along to get along. It's not a me and mine. I don't see that in our generation.
Yeah,
I see where's the call so we can come out.
Yeah,
that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm seeing. That's the energy. I think that remnant group has arrived. I think so. And Brother Nance made a good comment that we need to organize.
And that's a big thing, organizing together. So anyone who, have concerns that would like to offline talk and like continue to build, like that's what we're here for. Not necessarily, quote unquote attack mode, but in the same token, like what are some solutions that we as a village, as a community can do on our own, or that we can collectively come together, because it may just be a petition, that we're all as a voice. It may be, hey, this is what we want. And, there's school board meetings. One thing I want to say is, like, I always tell people, please get involved, not only just in your community, but in your schools, your child's school. Don't come only because the AC is off. Come there every day to say, look, this is what they, so don't come when they failed. Don't come when they, throughout the year, we don't hear from you. Get involved in your PTOs or PTA meetings, your school family council. Be a voice at that table. Like, that's what I'm pushing for parents in general to do more. So this not and if that's the case, everybody love to hear that. But if I say something about the school, they say you fighting it. No, I'm talking about the parents too. We got to do better, like as collectively.
Yeah, I totally agree, 1,000%. I totally.
Irene says that I don't know how much time we have, but I know Diamond K gonna let me know. I think it's wrapping up though. But I want to say this. Irene said, "Thank you, Diamond K. This is what destroyed our communities. We started to think the white man's ice was colder and that their schools were better." I'm just reading the comment. We had top-rated schools before integration. That is a long-term fighter in the community. Miss Irene, I love her dearly. She is in my district too, and she is a fighter. Listen, she's been in a fight for years, decades. She knows what's everything that's going on.
Back in the day, you had Douglas and you had Dunbar. They were the creme de la creme of schools in Maryland, in the state of Maryland. Creme de la creme.
Yeah. So, I think I tell you this, Jess. We talk about, like, when you reading these books, just really like getting our spirit right, like to know the history. And I'm sure you do know, but I always just say, hey, we recommending books to one another. Like that's what knowledge is power, and we have to make sure that we understand. Just like Brother Nan said, this didn't happen overnight. I get it. I'm saying it's okay to know that, and I truly understand it. Yeah. But when are we going to stop saying, "Oh well, we didn't have it all this time. We survived it."
When everybody gets, we're not tired enough yet because we're still waiting for somebody to hold on. We're still waiting for somebody else to create. We're still waiting for for our children and our families. We're still waiting for someone to tell us what to do instead of creating and telling and demanding. You can demand what you want without being ignorant. You can demand what you want from a very strategic place. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not doing no more marching. I can tell you that personally, me. I'm not doing no more walking, personally. You know what I mean? I've done that already. I'm not doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about economics. It's all about economics for me. It's not about power and change, and you're not trying to acquire power and influence. Influence and power and influence that makes change. If you don't have any influence, you can scream from the top of the mountain. But if you got 100,000 parents, 200,000 parents organized, that's power. Then you make change. But if you're sitting there backbiting and talking and I did it and I'm the one who organized, no, who gives a shit who organized it? You know what I'm saying? If it's about the kids, it's about the families. That's what it's about. No, I'm not saying you. I'm just saying. I was just saying. Listen, I'm saying that's the plague that affects urban communities all over the world in America.
Miss Irene said nobody.
You know what I mean? It's not just Baltimore. You know what I mean? That's by design.
Right. Miss Irene said nobody's going to give you anything. That's Mama Irene too. She said nobody's going to give you anything. You must take it or build it yourself.
Come on, speak that.
So what I want to say here as we get ready to close, I'm sorry. What I want to say, Brother Nance made a great point. And I think Jess has said it over and over, drop these eyes and knees, like this is a we thing. We are together. I can't organize another thing or try to do another thing, but I know that if someone is on here listening and you want to pull something together or you have something together, and like Brother Nan said, be strategic about it. It's not to say we want to bring bad things, light onto the city schools itself, but we also got to look at, hey, these are things that are happening and affecting our babies. And so if anyone is out there and you just either want to finish this conversation, this segment, come on, maybe next week or whatever time we want to try to, continue this. If you want to do offline and you want to organize some parents, because I do believe that strength in numbers.
Yeah.
And so we need to make sure that we communicate with that. You can drop your information and do a messenger, I guess, in the your Radio on Fire link. The producer will send over that information because it is coming off of their the live for Radio on Fire. But let's start that organizing. If you know parents who want to pull together, let's build that database. Let's build that today. It may not happen on, our watch, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep saying it. I want to sleep good at night. I want to be on the right side of the, the road there. I don't want to be on the, oh, she didn't even say anything.
The goal should be creating stepping stones and you dig what I'm saying? Like,
you broke up. Say it one more time.
It's about setting the roadmap and the stepping stones and getting the ball rolling on things that are going to outlive us.
Yes.
Because policy and things are going to change as things evolve.
Absolutely.
So one thing I will say that we can control is how our children embrace this new learning environment. We can control that. You know what I mean? We can't control we can't control what systems they give us, but we can control how our children and giving them the confidence that they can do it. If they got the confidence, if they got the ability to work a smartphone, they can work Google Classrooms. If they got the ability to look at TikToks and connect on PlayStation online and Xbox online and all those different apps. No, listen to what I'm saying. No, seriously though, like this. No, for real though, this is a very important point. You know what I'm saying? No, listen to what I'm saying. I'm being serious too. Like, we have to focus on the things that we can control our controllable. And the one thing that we can control is how our children are engaging with this new learning environment. You know what I mean? Like I said last week, I can't keep talking about what worked in my generation. We're not living in my generation. We have to look at what can we do for their current landscape and how we can adjust. We can't be like, oh, well, since I don't know, you don't know either. No, you should know so you can teach me so I can better engage, but I got to give you the confidence in order to do it. But if I'm always just, you know what? It's because of this, you don't have to do that work because they don't know what they're doing. No. That we're handicapped. And listen, we have an opportunity at home where you can self-pace your child. If your child behind, they got so many online apps, Khan Academy, that's free, that these kids got accounts that the city paid for. So if your kid come back lacking, to me, I'm not going to lie. That's a little bit on you. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, I'm not even going to lie. And there's no disrespect to none of my parents that's out there working. I understand it was hard for everybody. But what I'm saying is the approach that was really hard is we defeated our kids before they even started. That's what I'm saying. Let's get them.
So brother Nance, I don't know if it went out, but Brother Nance, you made a great point. And I do want to just say, as much as we kind of said some of the negative, I want to, try to balance it a little bit. So I want to shout out the city schools because we've actually really advocated for these amplified reading and tutoring that they will be continuing throughout the school year. So we want to thank, the school board district, and we want to thank them for those resources. And as he stated, we have to make sure that, hey, we have the resources at hand. We need to make sure those babies are connected to those resources. But at the end of the day, just like I was saying in the beginning, it all starts with effective communication. So even though I received that information because I was on all the meetings, Was that necessarily conveyed to all of the parents? I'm not really sure as far as the amplified reading. I do know communication goes out a lot. So again, I'm balancing it out. They give enough communication, sometime last minute, but they do put it out. But at the end of the day, if we know that this could be a tactic, we got to stay on it, parents. Like, we got to make sure we check those emails every day. Now schools are in. Make sure you get on Dojo. You communicate with the teachers. Like, the technology is there. Make sure that you attend these PTA and PTO and school family councils and parent cafe, whatever they call them these days. Get involved, because some of them don't even involve you coming into the school building to get the information. The resources have changed. We got to change with it. I'm with Brother Nance on that. So again, these are things that have the pandemic has highlighted some of the disparities, but it also has helped us, I believe, to help us organize even better, to help us get those resources better. And we have to know, how to connect and tap into it. But we also got to be good partners, parents with the schools with the students and so forth. And shout out to all of our teachers, our support staff, the district office, because, hey, I have some great people over there that I admire doing a great job. So this is not a point of a finger, but as I stated, we want to make sure that we highlight. We have a Black media, this broadcast, and we want to utilize that, nothing censored, and speak your mind and bring, awareness to that. And sometimes it may not feel good, it may not sound good, but at the end of the day, we still love you. This is what Restoring the Village is about. And so, again, we want to thank our special guest that came on. She was going at it. I was like, hey, you want to come on? So thank you, Jess Morgan, for being our special guest on the Restoring the Village Project's radio show. I'm not sure if my co-host is still there, but he was going in and out with his network. But I want to thank my co-host, Brother Nan. This time we were like, boom, boom, but he's my brother. I love him, and it's good to hear different perspectives. So I love you, Brother Nance. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in. We had a lot of good feedback coming from YouTube and from Facebook. And please just tune in. Like I said, every Monday.
Yeah, what's up, man? I had a lot to say. Diamond K had me backstage. I had a lot to say.
I think you were going out. I think you're
No, I don't know what Diamond K was doing.
No, I think you were breaking up, because I said I couldn't.
No, I was gonna say I agree with you. I was saying that I don't want you to think that I was trying to be combative, but I try to give a different perspective for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to point out the fingers and all that stuff, but it's hard to come up with the solutions. And I just want us to focus our time a lot on, and you're right. You're supposed to talk about what we want and what we. I wasn't attacking parents. I'm a parent myself. You know what I mean? I'm saying we have our households. We have to demand what we want, but it starts at home. Like I tell my students all the time, just if you're dependent on the.
You are breaking up. That's probably
schools are designed to teach your children how to think and organize ideas. Your job at home and their job that's the discovery happens at home. The drive starts at home.
So look, we're gonna have to probably talk about even the home, because who's to say how the home is? Like that could be a barrier too. So you say it started at home, but maybe they don't have a home, or maybe the home is broken. But anyway, it's layers to it. That's what we did agree on. That is layers to this, and maybe we can talk about. We've had young children murdered by their loved ones, people that they trusted, and we definitely got to talk about that. The home part, the home piece. It's easy to say what the parents should do when we don't know how the home is. So anyway, that's another topic in itself, but we really appreciate you all. We're a few minutes over, but we really appreciate you all tuning in. Please make sure you tune in next Monday for some little raw footage. We didn't know how we were gonna feel, but it's like I said, it's good to know that a lot of good feedback on both ends were there. We want to make sure that everybody have a safe and productive school year, and we want to do our part to make sure that we would be good partners. Effective communication is key, even on our end. And so we want to make sure, again, we're partners in this game. So everybody, please continue to love one another and continue to pray, keep these children in your prayer as well as the teachers. I know we say about our students, but my concern is about even our teachers and support staff. So thank you everybody that's out there being, a part of this village to keep this thing going. We really appreciate you all. See you all next Monday, 7 p.m., same time, same place, Restoring the Village.
Peace and power to the people. You already know Restoring the Village Radio.